we obviously need to talk about the obvious stuff that is happening first. We just finished the Polish national final where 10 songs battled it out. And one of them, of course, was the winner. And the name of the show is impossible to pronounce, but for shits and giggles, let's do it anyway. Tu bije serce Europai Birbiarmi hit na Eurovisie. Catchy name. Super, super catchy. No, so it was similar but different from last year. 50% of the vote decided by the juries, 50% of the vote then coming from the televoters. In last year's show, we've had this situation where they had a super final where the top three would battle it out again. Not this year. We only had the top three being announced with ultimately the winner. After all 10 songs performed with multiple interval acts in between, which is very confusing for a lot of us, but that's how they did it. All 10 acts performed. The televoters voted, and then at some point, the juries gave us their points. And honestly, it was confusing at first to some of us, but then ultimately it was decided by the juries that Blanka solo was their favorite, followed by Dominic Dudek with Be Good, the number 2, and then Philippers Never Back Down, falling Jan Gladiator. So anything that's not in the top 3 at that point clearly was not a winning contender anymore, unless the voting would have been completely upside down. And since we did not have a super final this time around, this was it. This was the vote. The top 3 were Dominic Dudek, Be Good coming in 3rd, Jan with Gladiator coming overall in 2nd place, and the winner in the Polish national final, therefore representing Poland in Liverpool at Eurovision 23, Blanka solo. So those are just the hard news, if you will. Let's talk about this. And I did not listen to the songs up front. So I went into this completely new, brand new. So this was my first impression of all the entries. And to me, there was definitely no competition based on my taste. If you know anything about my taste, you know it shouldn't come as a surprise that Gladiator was by far my number 1, Jan. It had the potential to be my favorite this year. Unfortunately, that did not happen. It appears, I'm going to refresh the results here real quick as they're coming in, but we don't have that yet, that the televoters at a bare minimum put him in 2nd place, but most likely he won the televote. But since he only came 4th in the jury vote, it was pretty obvious at that point that he was not going to win it. So when they had those 2 acts, Jan and Blanka holding each other like, oh, who's going to win? It was obviously already pretty obvious who would be. So Blanka solo going to Eurovision. The juries once again got their way. So let's talk this through, and I would love to hear from y'all as well. I was disappointed, as you can imagine, that my favorite didn't win, because again, this would have been a fantastic entry for Poland. I agree. I did say on Twitter, if you follow me, that I think the staging was a little lackluster. It felt like empty. At the same time, the song on its own merit was already good enough for me to fix it. Kind of what happened almost with Poland last year, right? It was not the greatest national final performance energy-wise and vocal-wise, but he was sick, Christian, at that point. So they could have fixed this one as well. I feel as, this is me, I'm putting on my conspiracy hat, don't judge me, but I feel as they got rid of the super final so they can ensure that the jury favorite would win, or increase at least the jury favorite's odds to actually make it. Because let's put aside Blanka, right? Because honestly, I actually quite like the song. It's very cute. Maybe too cute for its own good, but it's not a bad song. But the point is, there seems to be a lot of randomness. Alicia's song, New Home, screams like that the juries would love it, yet they put it so low. And then Jan Gladiator as well. Some of it seems very, very random. And Blanka solo, cute song, but during the live performance, let's be real here, she was flat. She was flat a lot. Vocally, it was not the best performance. As a matter of fact, I thought her reprise, her winning performance, was significantly better. Connor is saying Blanka isn't super stable when she's singing, but oh my lord, Jan's vocals were all over the place. It was painful. I don't think it was painful. I thought that he was breathing too loud into the microphone. That was my biggest issue. It was like, I'm like, that should have been. It was not the greatest effort in terms of staging, but nevertheless, this was the best song in my view. Clearly, lots of people like Soul's Run. I'm not gonna lie, it is a cute song, right? It's cute. It has reggae pop, reggae vibes, and it has a catchy melody. It's maybe almost too cute for its own good. I don't necessarily think it's like the song, but I will not go out here and say Blanka has a terrible song. I think it would have been my third. I mean, the thing is, well, no, she was probably my fourth favorite. I think my favorite was Jan Gladiator. I did have a big appreciation for Dominic Dudek as well, so that would have been a great alternative option. And then I actually really felt Alicia's song. I thought, even though it was a ballad, I was not really in the mood for a ballad. She touched my heart with that. Here we go. Pretty shocked here. Dudek and Felifa's were my early favorites, but Jan convinced me with his performance solo. A catchy song, but Gladiator had much more substance. I think that is all my talking here. That is a much better and effective way to summarize what I've been trying to say. I want to talk about one thing, though. I want to talk about one thing. And I brought up some really good. I think it's time that we're going to go a little bit more the poetic route, because I do find the message of the song touching to me, and I'm sad that this did not make the cut. It goes like this: booty, 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 so fat. I know you really, really want that. All his bitches hate me, hate me, hate me. They mad. I can have you, him, and his dad. So touching. I just can't get over it. That was, in case you didn't know, the song Booty Tonight. I couldn't believe who came up with that. But hey, I'm glad they did. It just, I thought that made me laugh. Here in Poland, we all expected the voting to be rigged. Blanka was heavily promoted by TVP. My guess is that Jan was there just for the money from the televoting. And usually I'm not a big conspiracist. But based on what I'm hearing in Poland and the things they keep telling me, all of a sudden they turn out to be coming to fruition. And I'm always like, oh, okay, maybe you have a point. And what we've seen in the past, certainly, I can see why people would feel that way, because looking at it from outside, it seemed very, very odd and calculative. I will say the fact that they got rid of the super final was a big, big question mark to me and very confusing. It really feels as, because last year they were pushing Daria really hard. And don't get me wrong, Daria actually had a pretty good song. So, but Christian had the winning material, and he ultimately pulled ahead because of that. Yeah. So who else were you thinking? Jelly saying Dominic's Dudek song was so uplifting and fresh, would have been a great entry. I thought so too. Especially the beginning with the harmonies. I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. And I see some other comments towards other national finals. We'll talk about them in a moment. Let's just stick to the topic for a moment. Let's talk about Poland at the Eurovision Song Contest 2024. 3. Not yet 24. Poland will perform in the second half of the second semifinal. And it's always important to look at who are they up against in terms of how their odds are. Poland's track record since 2017 has been less than ideal. Let's put it that way. They only qualified once since that year, last year, and that one was fantastic. So I thought that this was a tough one, because we all immediately want to say, like, okay, this is not the song we wanted to see win. It's not going to qualify. I'm always very careful with that sort of rhetoric, because let's see, especially who is in that semi that has already chosen their songs. Let's take a look at the second half first. Albania, Australia, Lithuania, San Marino, and Slovenia. right? Those are the ones in the second half that Poland is competing against. I don't necessarily think that Poland has like a similar style of song around them, so that is a big benefit. In the first half, we have Belgium, Denmark, and Estonia already chosen, and we're waiting on Armenia song, Greece, Iceland. Oh, Romania. Romania also has chosen. I forgot about Romania. Austria still has to give us a song, as well as Georgia. So Poland song solo, I do think its catchiness, and depending on where it ends up in the running order, although it's not that significant, I'm not counting out Poland yet. I am absolutely not counting out Poland. Um, I would have felt more comfortable or confident if, a different choice would have been made. But let's take a step back, take a deep breath, and think about really the song and judge it on its own merit. So I would not be shocked at this point if Poland qualifies. And the song, you have plenty of time to fix some. I mean, the staging wasn't that bad. I do like the colorfulness, and I do like the song. I do like the song. I just said that maybe it's a little bit too cute and on the, I wouldn't say unremarkable, but generic side. And I'm really not trying to be too harsh on the song because, again, songs like that tend to do decently, but I just don't see, even if it qualifies, to go anywhere on the left side of the scoreboard, unfortunately. So we will see. I would love to hear from everyone in the chat just by saying yes or no, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. Do you think, as of right now, your gut feeling is Poland to qualify from the semi? Just a straightforward yes or no. Based on my own gut, I will say yes. I do think that Poland, we have a lot of alternative, less mainstream songs in the second semi, and I feel as Poland may benefit from it. So, oh, you guys are too fast. No, yes, 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 no, yes, yeah, no, 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 yeah, yes, yes, no, nope, borderline, yes, yes, borderline, no, no, yes, 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 no. So I could go on for hours, but the point is, it seems like split in between, and I can see that being the case. So I'm leaning towards yes, but I'm not certain. So this will really come down to the running order, the feel, and the rest of the competition. I think if Poland would have been in the first semi, you can make a case that this would have been the end of the road. But we shall see. We shall see. Any questions you have in regards to Poland right now, let me know in the chat at ESC United. I see already questions about other national finals. We'll get to those in just a moment. I'm with all the yes and no's. I got to scroll up again to the if I miss any questions. Solo is a run-of-the-mill pop summary bop done well, but ESC has steered away from generic in the last couple of years, which is great. Unfortunately, this means we might qualify, but definitely won't win. Honestly, I think this is a very legit and reasonable statement to make. I do think that generic has gone a little bit of a backseat, but at the same time, there is a market for it, and I think definitely will not win, right? It's not a competitor. I don't even think it has a good shot at the top 10, but I think it could qualify. I'm still confused that the jury's put it in first place. No, actually, now that I'm hearing what others are saying, maybe I shouldn't be too surprised. But I'm not trying to go too far down the conspiracy route, but maybe it's just a fact. What staging do you think they should do to qualify? Honestly, the song itself, since it's a fun pop song, I think the and the reggae sound, I feel, is what they've done with the feel on this stage for the national final. I think that works. It needs to be very green, very, naturey, I think, and just make it bigger, work for the bigger stage at Eurovision. You have more LED and tools available. So this song does not require any sort of fireworks per se, right? Any craziness. I think this song's big strength lies within its catchiness, and because let's be real, don't deny it, you're gonna hum this even if you don't want to. There are plenty of songs I don't like, and I keep singing them because it's so darn catchy. So that is very interesting. Okay, I do see a super chat, no comments from a gentleman who told me after years that I've been mispronouncing his name, Stefan. Hello, thank you so much for that. To be frank, solo isn't bad. It's still good. It's just that Poland hasn't chosen the song up to their potential. I don't even need to do this show. You guys are so much better at summarizing this whole situation. That is exactly how I feel as well. I think Poland could have been a player this year again, kind of like last year. But I think that that's not going to happen. But once again, not a bad song. Oh, Stefan is saying she's going to pull Mikhail's block. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm completely with you. I can see what you're saying and where you're coming from. I was 100% on Paul Mikhail's train 2016 from the very first moment. When I heard it, I'm like, yeah, of course this beat Margaret. Here, I don't quite see it yet, but as pointed out, I do think it's going to do quite well in the televote, at least in the semis, and then we'll see what's going to happen in the actual finals. Let's talk about what should Poland do. I always have this approach, like if you're a true Eurovision fan, you should always side in favor of having a national final. So I don't want to say get rid of the national final in Poland, because clearly it has shown that your internal selections have not been great either. I think what they need to do is fix it. So don't get rid of it, fix it. I don't know if they want to fix it, because it seems as the broadcaster still likes to be in control or have a bigger say on who goes. And that's why they got rid of the super final. But if you truly want to have people get excited, it seems as the Polish people understand what would work at Eurovision, and the broadcaster decided not to listen to it. Change the voting, either bring back that super final or maybe do the proportionate voting, right? Like if you get 10% of the vote, you get 10% of the allocated points available, rather than this tiered 12, 10, 8, 7, because once again, Gladiator had no shot of winning once we found out he was in 4th place. And it's anticlimactic and just unfair. If they would have if he would have won, I don't know, I'm making up these numbers, kind of what happened in other countries, like get half of the vote in the televote, that would have been enough to catapult them into the top. So, yeah, it is unfortunate.